Hi everyone, bonjour tout le monde. My name is Katrina Campos-Arconi-Stubbs and I'll be your moderator today. Je serai votre modératrice aujourd'hui. Thank you for joining us today for our media availability on today's launch of the O Train Line 2 and 4. Merci de vous joindre à nous pour ce point de presse sur le lancement aujourd'hui des lignes 2 et 4 de l'O Train. Our media availability is available in French or English. If you would like audio interpretation, click the interpretation globe icon in the bottom menu, then select your preferred language. You can ask your question in the language of your choice, and a reminder that our meeting is being recorded. Ce point de presse est disponible en français ou en anglais. Si vous souhaitez bénéficier d'une interprétation audio, cliquez sur l'icône de globe d'interprétation dans le menu du bas, puis sélectionnez la langue de votre choix. Vous pouvez poser vos questions dans la langue de votre choix et cette réunion est enregistrée. Today, we will have opening remarks from Renee Amilcar, General Manager of Transit Services, and Troy Charter, Director of Transit Service Delivery and Rail Operations. Le point de presse aujourd'hui comprendra des remarques préliminaires de Renee Amilcar, Directrice Générale, Service de transport en commun, et de Troy Charter, Directeur Service de transport en commun et Opérations ferroviaires. I'll pass things over to Renee. Je vais maintenant passer la parole à Renee.
Merci beaucoup, Katrina. Bonjour
Thank you, Katrina. Hello, everyone.
It's a pleasure to be here today. Happy New Year. Bonne et heureuse année à vous tous. Thank you for joining us today for an update on the first day of O Train Line 2 and 4 operations. I'm joined by Troy Charter, Director of Transit Service Delivery and Rail Operations, to discuss this morning's service and our observations. To our many customers who decided to try out the new system today, I would like to welcome you all aboard O Train Lines 2 and 4. To others who may be curious about the new lines, we continue to provide parallel bus service so you can get familiar with lines 2 and 4 and try them out when you are ready. Today, service began at 6 a.m. this morning. I was proud to be at Bayview Station to take the first train of the day with a lot of curious people. I was also pleased to see many customers who also wanted to be part of this milestone by using the train to their morning commute. Customers who rode the system today will notice some key changes since the last traveled on Line 2. Our new Stadler Flirt vehicles are twice as long as the trains that used to operate on Line 2, providing increased capacity. Longer platforms at all Line 2 stations to provide additional space for customers. Passing tracks have been lengthened to provide additional operational flexibility. A new rail flyover to allow our lines 2 to pass above the Via Rail tracks. More than 1,600 parking spaces at our park and rides found at Greenboro, Leitrim, and Bosville stations. A new rail connection to the Ottawa International Airport via Line 4. Finally, we have added new stations and extended Line 2 into Riverside South. While we are proud to begin this service, our work is not done. This is phased opening, which allows us to put our training and procedures to the test. We will certainly have additional adjustments to make as we see how customers interact with the new lines. On the first day of our phased opening, I'm pleased with how our service is progressing. Our team and our maintainer are closely monitoring the system from the Transit Operations Control Center, and we have staff across the system. We are all ready to respond to any events to keep customers moving. 5-day service on weekdays will continue for a minimum of 2 weeks before we expand to 6 days. Our team is committed to keeping you informed as the system demonstrates that everything is functioning as intended so that we can expand to 6 days of service. To those of you who rode the system today, thank you. To those of you who are planning to ride the system soon, we look forward to seeing you on our new O-Train lines 2 and 4. Maintenant, je vais passer la parole à Troy
I'd now like
Charter.
to give the floor to Troy Trotter, who will give you an oversight of what happened this first morning of service. Troy, over to you.
I'd like to start off by saying the entire team is extremely excited and happy to have lines 2 and 4 in service with customers on board. It's been a long time coming. We've been working towards this. We've been preparing for many months. Our team has undertaken extensive planning, preparation, and coordinate activities to ensure that we deliver reliable service and can respond to any incident that may occur while we're in service. As Madame Amelkar mentioned, we're pleased with how service has started today. So we began service on time at 6 a.m. this morning, providing rail service from Bayview to Linebank stations, the main line, and South Keys to Airport Station with 7 trains on the main line and 2 trains on the airport link, as we planned and as we intended and as everyone expects. I'm pleased to report that service has been operating as expected, as intended, throughout the entire morning and into this afternoon, with no significant issues or delays identified and we don't anticipate anything to occur this afternoon. Our Transit Operations Control Center is closely monitoring service performance, with field staff strategically positioned across the system to promptly address any additions that may arise. We're working closely with our Transit Next partners, who are also deployed in stations along the lines to support the service. In terms of some general observations this morning, and specific to ridership, on line 2, the main line, our passenger loads were considered light to moderate, and the service ran, as I said, started on time and ran according to schedule without any significant delays. Line 4, the airport spur, the passenger ridership there was considered light, but again, running on schedule. During this time, we're still operating our parallel bus service, so lines on routes 2, 97, and 99 routes, and the ridership on those routes were considered light. Our outreach staff is present at all the key stations, helping to answer questions and ensure everyone is successfully navigating the system on their first journey, and will be out there for the next 2 weeks. Service will continue to operate today until midnight tonight, which is the scheduled end of service, and we will be resuming service again tomorrow morning at our normal 6 a.m. start time. During this period of time, customers can continue to use the parallel bus service through the existing routes of B2, formerly called the Line 2 buses, routes 99 and 97, as they become familiar with lines 2 and 4. So that is an option that's out there still for our customers. And as Madame Amelkar mentioned, we'll keep everyone informed through updates on our service delivery made through the media availabilities, as well as email updates to council. So at this time, I'll now hand things back over to Katrina. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. Merci, René. I'll invite each media outlet in alphabetical order to ask one question and one follow-up. Je vais maintenant inviter chaque organisme de presse par ordre alphabétique à poser une question et une suivie. We'll start with Emma Weller at CBC.
Hi there, thank you. I'm just wondering, do you have any sense, you say it was a light to moderate attendance today on the rail. Do you know how many people have taken it so far this afternoon, or any sense?
Thank you for the question. I don't know, Troy, if you have exactly, but I don't have it now, but this is something that I will have at the end of the week for sure, and I will be more than happy to share.
Emma, did you have a follow-up question?
Sure, yeah. Do you think, based on how it ran today, that it will open on this Saturday, Sunday, as planned in 2 weeks? Things continue to run as smooth?
Thank you for the question. It's definitely too early to answer to that question, and we need to continue to monitor the system. It's the first day today. I'm very glad, but I'm cautious, and we know it's winter, and we know that we'll have to deal with some issues. So I think it's important to take our time and to deal with the system, to observe things. And we will be more than, again, happy to share as soon as possible when we will go to 6 days for a minimum of 2 weeks too, before to open 7 days.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Emma. We'll go to Natasha O'Neill at City News. Okay, I don't see Natasha. Ted Raymond at CTV.
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, excellent. My first question then would be to Madame Amilcar. Curious if you have spoken with the mayor or heard anything from the mayor with regard to the situation on Parliament Hill and how it relates to the transit funding side of things, the campaign for more transit funding.
Thank you for the question. Frankly, today I'm focusing on the launching the two important lines, right? And I think it's a very important event for us, and for sure that that will be a concern for sure. But for today, I'm concentrating myself only on the on the lines 2 and 4. I think you can understand that.
All right. No, I understand. Then I'll ask a follow-up question just with regards to some of the testing that was done prior to launch. You sent out several memos about different kinds of procedures and testing and that sort of thing. I'm curious about specifically with the areas of single track. If something were to stop the train in an area of single track, can you walk me through that procedure? What is the delays that people might face, and what is it that staff have to do to get that line moving again?
Thank you for the question, and I will try to add some comments after me. So first and foremost, we have done hundreds of drills. So we have prepared, let's say, if we have a problem with one of the switch, what kind of diversion we can put in place. So we can have 2 loops of trains that we can have a loop on the south and another loop on the north, and we'll have for sure to communicate everything to our passengers so they can have the right decision. They can take the right decision. And one of the other thing as well, we are on the soft launch, so we run in parallel buses, so people can switch easily to the buses if we have a problem with the trains. So those kind of things we will continue to fine-tune them, I would say, and it will depend on what kind of situation that we will need to deal with. So the time can be 1 minute or 5 minutes or maybe 30 minutes. So every single event will have a different time, but our focus is to be able to resume service as soon as possible, so we will decrease the impact on our customers. Troy, maybe you can add further on the drills.
Sure. Renee, you touched upon most of it there. Leading up to the launch of the rail line through the testing commissioning period, the trial running period, we've been conducting drills and exercises, and as Madame Amilcar mentioned, hundreds of drills and exercises. And one of the big ones that we've been doing is looking at running our what we call alternative service arrangements. And that's what we do when there is some sort of disruption on the line, whether it be a vehicle issue or a switch issue, or sometimes it could be things like debris on the track, like a fallen tree, something like that. The disruption, what customers have experienced will really vary depending on what the issue is and where it occurs on the line. Obviously, our focus will always be trying to keep rail service moving as much as possible. There's various ways we can do it, but if it does occur in a single tracking section, as Madame Amilcar explained, we would look at running trains on loops on smaller portions of the line, and we may need to supplement that with bus service. But as we're in this soft launch period of time, we've kept the bus service going as well too, so that if we do experience a disruption in the early days, we can pivot, or we can make those alternate arrangements with minimal impacts to our customers.
Thank you, Ted, for the question. Charles-Antoine Gagnon, Le Droit.
Charles-Antoine Gagnon, Le Droit. Hello. I'd like to know, Ms. Amilcar, the frequency of trains is currently every 12 minutes. Is this what you intend to do, or will it be possible to reduce this to 10 or 11 minutes, perhaps? Thank you for asking the question. This is really the best performance that we can provide, given that we have to share the track. This is why we can't offer a service other than every 12 minutes. This is really the best possible service that we can provide with the infrastructure we have. However, the good news is that if ridership is high enough, if we have the money to do so, the system has been built in such a way as to allow us to build a double track in both directions. That would allow us to provide a service every 5 minutes as we do on line 1. While we're talking about money and infrastructure and money from the government, the train stops at Linebank, which is not far from Barrhaven. Do you think at one point it will be possible to extend the track from Linebank to reach Barrhaven, or do you prefer a BRT system? A bit of a correction there. The trains on line 2 and 4 are not light trains because they're heavy trains. We're calling it the O train, and that avoids confusion. For the time being, we're already planning stage 3, and that's the extension to the west. But for the time being, the north-south system is designed in such a way as to prepare for future expansion. If you went to Linebank this morning, you'll see that there aren't many passengers. This means that the system is ready for growth, is prepared for growth. For the time being, people can use their cars. They can use the 1,800 spots that are available in the park and rides. So that's a great service, a great north-south service already. But for the time being, this is what we have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, can you tell me what, in opening day, you've obviously had some hiccups. What have those been, and have they been addressed, or how do you plan to address them?
Can you repeat the question for me, please? Sorry for that.
There are always hiccups, things that don't quite go smoothly, and some things that you have to fix. And I'm wondering what you've noticed so far. I mean, I noticed 2 of them. One is the on the flirt trains. For the longest time, it said next stop Leitrim, even if it wasn't. And also the PA announcements were really quiet. People couldn't hear those. And I'm just wondering what sort of things you have discovered today. Those 2 plus any others that you've discovered, and what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. So yeah, the PIDs, the problem with the passenger information, this is something that we are on our radar. We have worked a lot during the holidays and trying to fix things, and we will continue daily to work with our partners to be able to do so. And we still have, the switches on our radar, because your colleague just asked a question, what will happen if we have a stop train? And because of single track, we don't have this flexibility that we have with the line 1. So those things, we will continue to monitor them, and we will continue to work on our capacity to deal with them very quickly, because issues will have, for sure. This is not something that we would expect to avoid. We know that we will need to deal with the problems, so we want to be able to deal with them very quickly, so we can decrease the impact on customers.
But have there been ones that you discovered today? I mean, I assume the switches on the single tracks were not a problem today.
No, but this morning, I think very, very slightly, our control room couldn't see the position of the switch, so we had to wait a little bit, but we recovered very quickly, which is great. And the PIDs, you just said as well, this is something that we knew. Other than that, so far, I would say so far so good.
Okay, and my second question is, I mean, you don't know how many people rode it today, but you must have an idea of what you'd hoped for, what you expected, and what you got. And so how does what you got compare with what you were hoping for?
Thank you. For sure, I would like to maximize the capacity, and we know that it's more than 400 per hour people that we can carry on those trains. And my colleague said half of that today. So we will continue to monitor. Again, it was the first day, very, very chilly day, and we hope that people will come and we'll have our passengers count that we will be able to share with you as soon as possible how many people we carried, and we'll share that for sure.
Okay, but just to clarify then, so were you getting about 200 an hour then?
I don't know, Troy, if you can confirm that. I don't want to say things that I'm not 100% solid with. I would say we said today that it was low to medium. Medium, I would say it's half, but I cannot be certain to say that today. I would prefer to say, let me get some data and I will back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe if I could just make a slight correction, what Renee was quoting was the number of passengers per train, not per hour. So just, we can, on line two.
Sorry, per train per hour?
Yeah, well, on the capacity on line 2 is about 4,200. On the main line is about 4,200 customers per hour. And, it's about 420 customers on a very, very full train on the Stadler train. So about half of that would have been 200. So, we saw some trains that were busier than others, and some trains that were lighter, but that's not unexpected for a cold Monday morning following, the holiday break. We have been experiencing lower ridership on Mondays and Fridays across the system, since return to work environments from post-COVID. So, we need to see this over the next couple of days and see how it pans out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Et la prochaine, c'est Charlotte Tremblay à Radio-Canada.
Charlotte Tremblay, Radio-Canada. Charlotte, je vous vois là. Avez-vous des questions? Charlotte Tremblay, Radio-Canada. I wanted to get some more information on passengers. You talked about 4,200 per hour. Do you have more data, more information on that, or don't you have that information yet? Thank you for your question. 4,200 passengers an hour, that's our capacity. 2,620 per hour on line 4. But to date, we don't yet have the figures. What we have seen from our observations was that it varied between light and medium. We'll compile the data, and as soon as we get that data, perhaps tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we'll provide those to you. For the time being, we don't have that data officially and clear. Thank you very much. I also wanted to know the following. I wanted to confirm with you. There was no service interruption today, right? Not for the time being, no. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
So this concludes our media availability today. Ceci conclut le point de presse aujourd'hui. Thank you everyone for joining. Merci tout le monde.